Hey guys, welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. This is your daily show. I'm your host, Khalid Mohidin, and this is the show where we talk about all the major talking points in South African cricket. Now, this particular show is more about actually things that are happening in the world of cricket. It's a little bit of both, but the headlines for this particular story obviously run are aligned with the fact that AB de Villiers and Imran Tahir have been nominated for awards of the decade, which is obviously an awards that is being handed out by the ICC. And there are obviously various other cricketers that have also been nominated, and the list has come out recently. So, what I thought I'm going to do is have a conversation with you guys and put up some of the nominations on the screen and get your thoughts on who you think would be able to win these categories, as well as who you thought should be in this particular nominations that wasn't in the nominations. So I'm going to obviously pull up each individual category on the screen, and then you guys can give your thoughts. I'm also going to bring on a fan to come have a conversation with me as well about the different topics. But obviously, as you know, as per usual, before we get going with this video, don't forget to click subscribe, click that notification bell for all future content. So let's get into this particular episode. Apiwe, if you're ready at the back, I might as well just bring you on straight away and you can come chat to us. I hope that the connection is good. How's it, bro?
How are you
Sorry,
doing?
I'm good with you, man. Good, thanks. Yeah, let's talk about this because I want to see some of the Apa saying discipline I can't make it today, but I'll throw in some questions. It's okay, Aba. You come on so many streams, so it's all right. We got to be with people if they're interested. If you want to come on the show, or just give your thoughts in the comment section. Let's bring out the first category, Apiwe. The first category is obviously going to be the main one, the main category, and that is, of course, Sir Garfield Sobers Award for ICC Male Cricketer of the Decade, the best overall performer in men's international cricket, Test ODIs during the performance period. So obviously they're going to be running it from 2011 to 2020. Let me just pick up the exact dates. We did an article on our website that's doing pretty well at the moment on this particular topic. A lot of people are getting involved in the conversation with regards to this. Oh, it's much clearer now. I was having a little bit of connection issues actually. It's a lot clearer on your side now,
I
actually.
thought I thought it was me.
Well, these things happen sometimes. We need to sort it out. Sometimes, I mean, but sometimes on the platform, sometimes it happens. The traffic, if a lot of people are tuning in as well on the traffic around the world on this particular platform, then it does give a little bit of a problem for all of those type of things. So yeah, let's get back into the topic quickly. The period that this will be running from is based on performances during the 1st of January 2011 and the 7th of October 2020. So I'm going to put this on the screen so that people actually know and they don't get confused. When they're watching this video back, of course, you're not going to remember the period every single time. So I might as well just put that on a banner on the screen quickly, and then so that people don't get confused what we're talking about. So let's look at these nominations. I see the comment section is live, guys. We'll get to your comments after we do the first particular category. So Garfield Sobers Award for ICC Male Cricketer of the Year. They have said Ashwin, Virat Kohli, Joe Root, Sangakkara, Steve Smith, AB de Villiers, Kane Williamson. Let's start with the guys that you think should win it. Now, a lot of guys are saying, I agree with Werner. Virat has been the best batsman player overall the last decade. We have over here Steve Smith, a lot saying Virat Kohli, someone saying AB de Villiers, and we know that Texas is an AB de Villiers fan. Apiwe, from your point of view, from that list of players, who do you think should win that category of the best player of the decade?
With the whole decade being taken into account and all three formats being taken into account in that one, it's pretty hard to look past, even though everyone on that list actually deserves to be there, and a lot of those names have really performed in the past 10 years. But it's really hard to look past number 2 there, Virat Kohli, who averages 15 all three formats and has been really good overall in tests, ODIs. Even though his tests might have started off a little shaky, he's brought those numbers up also, and I think he pretty much deserves that one. Even though not that any of those nominated there wouldn't be worthy award winners of this big award. Maybe AB de Villiers, as some fans and some biased people might feel, he also deserves to be close. But I think based on his T20, he loses out there for me a little bit to Virat Kohli.
Mm-hmm. Also, there were 2 World Cups during that period, of course. And you obviously can't ignore some of the people that were involved in making those tournaments also quite special. But I mean, overall, I was interested that Sangakkara obviously on that list. That is also one of a phenomenal cricketer he was, and incredible. But I mean, yeah, a lot of people actually were talking about Virat and saying, "But why is Virat even on the list?" And well, some people have been saying that on social media, and I was quite surprised that people actually were thinking of him as the one that was odd one out. Clearly, they're not looking at particular years that you have been out. For example, Steve Smith with the ball tampering saga. So they haven't really taken that into consideration over here. It's just about players that have been players of the decade. I was surprised that Steve Smith is in here as a male cricketer of the decade, because I thought maybe
overall.
Yes, in the overall category, I think he's one of the guys that I'm looking at, and I'm like, maybe not him, maybe someone else that has done well across all formats. He's the only guy that I'm a bit worried about in that list.
I feel he was showcased in the test nominations, but overall, especially T20 and ODI, you might feel that there's names which might go in above him, but I'm not sure which one you want to go with right now.
Yeah. I think if you take the last 5 years, maybe Ben Stokes sort of nipped into that category, perhaps, because he's been phenomenal for England. If you just look at the last 5,
I think there's a fast bowler there who has done brilliantly, especially in Test cricket, whose name I can't see there. So, South African fellow who I might have thought. He's not in any of the categories, which is worrying for me.
Yeah, so, let's get into that a little later.
Yeah, let's leave that name for now.
Yeah, let's get into the women's categories. Now, my only concern about it is I think all of these players are phenomenal, and all of them have done phenomenally well. And because of the amount of World Cups Australia won in the last 10 years, it's crazy. So obviously, I think you can't leave out the Australian players. England as well, especially, have done phenomenally well. New Zealand is always challenging, and obviously the West Indies, obviously winning the T20 Women's World Cup as well. So they've also been incredible. I was surprised though that someone like Dane van Niekerk wasn't in the nominations. I know it's difficult to look when you look at them. It's difficult to say who should lose out for her, but I mean she's a phenomenal cricketer, and I think she's been incredible for South Africa. But still very young though, so maybe we'll see her in for the next decade. So we'll have to wait and see. Any thoughts on the women's cricketers?
It's really hard to argue up against any of those names, honestly. Yeah. If we bring someone else, I think we need to add to this list. I don't think anyone deserves to be pulled out.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel Sarah Taylor wasn't just one of the best female wicketkeepers, one of the best wicketkeepers over both male and female. Her technique behind the stump is just brilliant. The Elise Perry is, I think she might even take it. So
yeah,
I think she deserves to take it. The West Indies, she's also powerful with the bat and pretty much as them, all of them. I could keep saying everything about all of them. There, Meg Lanning's got so many runs. Mitali Raj got what, close to over 10,000 runs. So it's hard to argue against any of them. But as you say, you might want to add someone like Dane, especially overall. She's all-round ability, batting, fielding, bowling, and captaincy. So I'd want to add to that list rather than to take anyone from that list.
I mean, even someone like Marazan Kapp, phenomenal player. Shabnam Ismail being fantastic over the years as well. Mignon Dupree as well has been a soldier.
I was about to say the previous captain of Run Machine.
So there's quite a lot you would like to add. I was a bit sad because obviously I would like to see the Proteas women. I'm a big
I would
fan
have liked at least one. At least one.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the next one category, and that is ICC Men's Test Cricket of the Decade, the best overall performer in Test cricket. This is the one that irked me a bit, and that's because I wanted to see the man Dale Steyn on this list. And I know some people are like, maybe because of the last 2 years, but I'm like, even so,
he didn't play.
If 8 out of the 10 years he was phenomenal, then it still takes him to a different level. It's a tough one, that one, because I mean the only person I can see him coming in there is James Anderson, and how many of us will say that Dale Steyn is a better bowler than James Anderson? A lot of us, for the way he's dominated all over the world, not just in his country. So when I'm looking at this particular list, that's someone that I might take, that I would take out, maybe James Anderson, maybe for Dale Steyn. I mean, look at the other names there, Apiwe. Who else do you think is a bit puzzling from this particular list?
I'm not sure if I'd be controversial or something, but something about number 4 is underwhelming for me. He's very good. He's very, very good, but I'm not sure he's player of the decade good kind of vibe.
Yeah.
For me, Joe Root. He's underwhelmed. Everybody knows how talented he is. Everybody knows how much he can score, but he's just not done it consistently enough for me. And it doesn't convert his Mr. 50s. He scores a lot of 50s. If he had converted at least half of those that he didn't convert, he converts those into big hundreds. He'd be averaging more than 60, I think. At least, and then he'd definitely be a name you'd want in there. But I'm really, really disappointed in a name I would have considered to even be front runner to win the Test Player of the Decade, Dale Steyn. I feel really weird about him not being there, not even nominated. Because I would have felt he would be front runner to win it. That's for me. He would be front runner to win it. You can't be.
Yeah.
He was world number 1 for at least 5 years. I think nearly 6 years out of these 10 years. So
it's unbelievable.
How can you not have him there?
Yeah.
How can you not?
Another one that maybe, I don't know, like maybe that was phenomenal as well is obviously Hashim Amla has been fantastic for South Africa for so long. I know towards the end of his career he already fell away, but he was also phenomenal over the decade as well. I look at Kane Williamson over there, and I'm a big fan of Kane Williamson. And I look at him, but I'm like, it's still not a name that really jumps out to me as Test cricketer of the decade. Really, I think there's so many other players that can be thrown in that category. I don't know. This is a very controversial one for me. This particular one. India, Virat Kohli. I'm thinking he'll probably win it. If I'm looking at it, or Steve Smith. If I'm looking at it because of obviously the way they've dominated Test cricket over the last couple of years, it's quite puzzling actually that Dale Steyn hasn't made it. Is there any other names that you can mention, maybe Apiwe, that you think that's not on that list that maybe should be?
Adding names onto it, I'm not sure. I'm really happy to see that name, the number 2 on the list, Rangana Herath, because I feel sometimes he goes under the radar and is not appreciated enough sometimes. So I'm really happy to see that name there. Adding names onto that, if you're adding Virat Kohli and Kane Williamson, not Virat Kohli, Joe Root and Kane Williamson, it's easy to, if you compare those two, especially those two as batsmen, and you compare them to AB de Villiers in Test cricket, then it's you try to you feel like you could have considered AB de Villiers if you already have those two, because I feel sometimes that he is ODI and my ODI especially because he didn't do a lot in T20 international, but AB de Villiers' ODI career makes it seem like he was the average Test player, which he wasn't. He still averaged 50 there and was brilliant for the Proteas. So that's a name I could add to that list on top of the Dale Steyn, and then those are my South African picks, if I could say.
Yeah, if I could say, yeah. Because remember, guys, we're obviously going to be very South African biased. This is obviously a South African channel, but we're going to talk a little bit about some international players as well. Guys, if I look at the next list, and I don't think there's going to be much changes over here. Once again, we're going to say that with regards to the ODI men's cricket, all of these players have been phenomenal for their sides. If I look over here and I think about it, and I'm trying to remember every single player now between 2011 and now, there's so many. Once again, Virat Kohli in the running to win this category, I feel. AB de Villiers, obviously, another one. I mean, if we're going to want South Africans, we want South Africans to win. I don't really have much to say about this particular category and to say who should fall out of here, because I think all of them have been quite spectacular over this period. Is there anybody that stands out to you that shouldn't be here, maybe, Apiwe?
Oh, shouldn't? I don't think so. I don't think anybody shouldn't be there. That list is very, very strong, I feel. All of those guys. A name that I like there, which might actually be front runner along with AB de Villiers for me. I don't think Virat is the best over the decade. He deserves to be there, but I don't think he's the best. Along with AB de Villiers might actually be a strange name. I would go with Rohit. He's been phenomenal. He scored how many double hundreds in ODIs for India in this past decade, averaging 50 plus for, I think it's 7 years now in ODI each year, consistent every year, averaging above 50. So he's also a front runner for me there. But saying any of those guys don't deserve to be there, I really don't think so. Sangakkara was brilliant in the World Cups, especially. So white ball, and you do it in the World Cups, you definitely deserve to be there, even though he might have not played all the 10 years. But his World Cup performances were too good to ignore, I think.
And that's why I couldn't really say anything when I'm looking at the list. I gave it to you to say it because I was like, there's nothing really I can say much about these guys.
That's what I'm saying. All I'm going to do here is give them all credit, because the best death bowlers, both of those guys there. Mitchell Starc reverse swinging it at 150. The Malinga action with the Yorkers, and at the end of this decade, he had a brilliant slower ball. So it wasn't just the Yorkers. So it's hard to argue against any of those guys. And I think MS Dhoni also averaging 50 at what is it, number 6 or 7, wherever he chose to bat, and his captaincy, because he captained really well for India. I felt he made that team even better than it actually was, which was already good, very good. So all these names deserve to be here. And it's hard to see to have room for anyone else to come in. I think they all deserve to be here. This category I'm happy with.
Yeah, me too. Let's move on to the next category, and that is obviously the women's cricketer of the decade, ODI cricketer of the decade. I don't really have much to say here either. Maybe I'm obviously going to say that yes, Proteas women players must come in here, but I think all of them deserve their spots there. There's nobody to come out. I don't think we must dwell too much on this one, because I don't want to disrespect any of the people that are in this category, because they deserve to be, I think, every single name over here. So we can move on. I think, Piwe, do you agree?
Yes. But I'd like to say maybe on the women's front, the South Africans can look forward to the next decade. I think we'll
Yeah.
definitely have a Lara Wolfhard in one of those lists, if not all, because I think in the next decade she's about to dominate. So she's already started now, but her sample size might have been too small to have her in any of these lists.
Yeah.
So I think next decade, South Africans can look forward to that name. So for now, these names are perfect.
Yeah, I think Nadine de Klerk is also an exceptional talent as well. Someone that's really coming through and doing exceptional well. I think she has a lot of room to grow still for her. So I think that we are moving on to the T20I Cricketer of the Decade, the best overall performing T20Is during that period. So I'm looking at this. When we were talking about the whole decade, right? And we were talking about like, yeah, there's not enough sample size. The one guy that stands here out to me that with regards to sample size not being enough is Rashid Khan. So I'm like, I mean, the sample size for him is not that long. I don't think he's played a lot of the last decade, with due to his age, of course. So for them to throw him into the mix, yes, great. It shows how great he was in the last couple of years. But I don't know. Do you think that he deserves to be on this list with regards to the whole entire decade? I'm not so sure about that one, but obviously Aaron Finch being phenomenal for Australia as well. Chris Gayle, of course, like in T20 cricket, not even T20I cricket, but T20 cricket in general, the man's a king. He's number one on the list with all formats. Doesn't matter what you do. Lasith Malinga's lethality for obviously a team like Sri Lanka with those amazing Yorkers that he bowls consistently. Rohit Sharma, destructive. The amount of hundreds he scored at quick rates is phenomenal. I mean, of course, Imran Tahir, possibly the best spinner ever in T20Is, I would say. I don't know that's a bold statement to make, but I strongly believe that. Guys that shouldn't be on this list, Apiwe, and who should be on this list from your perspective?
Shouldn't, I don't think I can say that to about any. As I heard you said, what's his name? Rashid Khan might have not had a big enough sample, but he's played because the Afghanistan haven't been given a lot of test matches, and
so he's played
sometimes not even ODI. So he's played a lot of T20 games. So I think maybe that's what they have considered. So I don't want to argue against him because he is brilliant. Not just as that mystery spinner for Afghanistan, his low order batting also plays a big part for Afghanistan. So I don't want to argue against his name being there too much, even though the sample size is a worry. I do think that if you having him and not worrying about the sample size, someone like Baba might have also had to be looked at, because he's also might have been different to how everyone else plays the T20 game, because he's not as big a hitter as all of those guys. But if we don't consider sample size, because he's still a young guy and hasn't really dominated the whole decade and has just been world number one for like past 2-3 seasons. So but I don't think he deserves to be there ahead of any of those guys. Maybe just a name to consider, but I don't think it needs to be ahead of any of those guys there, especially the batsmen who were in there. All deserve to be there.
Okay, let's look at some of the comments. Some of the guys saying Rohit Sharma, obviously for the ODIs, they're saying AB's strike rate at ODIs is unmatched at an average of 50. Werner agreed. Rashid Khan 5 years is not enough to be considered for a decade. Reginald saying that Chris Gayle. Reginald also saying Imran Tahir. So
which one is it?
Which one is it? It has the AB, because of the impact he has in ODIs, of course. And Dex, you're a massive AB fan, so I know you're going to say AB. I picked that up over the last couple of streams. I love it, and keep up the support for that. The only one really that I was going to talk about is really Rashid Khan. That's the only one really I had to say. If I'm going to be really, really biased and I have to put a South African in, you have to talk about JP Dumnie being the best T20 player for South Africa. But that's really stretching for me. That's really stretching for me just because I want to put the South African into the fold. Let's go to the last category, and that is obviously for the women. And I don't think on my side. I don't think there's any disputes here again. Um, if I look at it, obviously you can see Australia dominates it. It's obviously also because of the amount of games they win and the games they win. Phenomenal over here. I mean, Elisa Healy. Wow. Like seriously, you can even see her in the Big Bash League how she's
She just got 100 now. She just got 100, I think, the past week, and that was also just proper cricket. And I don't see anything wrong with her being on the list. She's been brilliant and behind the stumps.
Yeah, so I think, guys, that basically wraps that up. I can't really say anything. I mean, Chloe Tryon, phenomenal for South Africa in T20 cricket. But I think that she still needs to prove herself for longer, obviously for a longer side. There's been sometimes when she has been on very bad form and she really didn't get that extra edge that we expected to on the bigger stage. But a very phenomenal, a very amazing cricketer. We can obviously see how someone like Laura Wolfert has actually surprised me in the T20 game a lot. I was like very surprised because of her amazing technique and timing. She can play. She looks like she can play in any format. So, and hopefully the woman can play Test soon, so we can watch that. That will be flipping awesome. But Reginald saying that Perry for him, and a lot of people I think would say Perry because Perry's an amazing cricketer, amazing human being, amazing cricketer, amazing. Just amazing person in general. So I think that also throws into the basket. I feel that the type of person she is as well. I would give her points for that. But generally speaking, I'm very happy with it. It's only really Dale Steyn with regard to the Test side, and obviously some other guys that we've mentioned. Apiwe, is there anything else you want to say on that particular thing?
I agree on Dale Steyn, and there's a name I'd like to throw in for the overall, not just for Test or ODIs, because his ODIs might not get him into the ODI one. His Test might have not got him into the Test nominations, but his overall for Test and ODIs, I think might have had him considered. Hashim Amla was averaging 50 for both of those for most of that decade. Yes, he had a dip in the Test at the end, but I still feel he was good enough to be in that overall one, along with Dale Steyn.
Do you think if he retired a little earlier, he might have been considered on this list? Do you think that because of those last couple of years that he really, really struggled, it might have pipped him off the list?
Yeah, they do say in cricket you're as good as your last innings, and it's the easiest one to remember. So the fact that he had a big dip in Test cricket, especially, I think the fact that he went from averaging well above 50, 51, 52 most of the time, and went up below 50 might have really hurt him, because no matter how high you get in the 40s, 49.99 doesn't look like 50. So when you average 50, everyone thinks you're great. When you average 49, they're like, you're good, not great. So I think that really hurt him. Those last few years really hurt him, I think.
Yeah. Awesome, guys. So you guys can go check that article. Obviously, you can go check that article out on cricketfanaticsmag.com. There is a place for you guys to vote for who you want to win as well that you must click through. It's from the ICC website. So go vote for your players that you should win. Go vote for the South Africans. We want South Africans to win. But thanks
not
for
a lot
everybody.
to choose from.
Thanks
not as many as...
Yeah, not a lot of people to choose from, exactly. So vote for the two that are in there. Okay. So guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. Thanks a lot for watching this video. Thanks a lot for people for joining us on the show. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, click that notification bell for all future videos. Don't forget to subscribe to the magazine. The link is on the screen and in the description. Guys, tomorrow we start our full-on coverage with regards to the England tour. We're going to be doing some exclusive, amazing content for you guys that I don't think a lot of people will be thinking about or doing. So I hope you guys tell all your friends and family to follow Cricket Fanatics Mag during this particular period, because I think we're going to try and give you the best possible content. And we're also going to give you guys an opportunity to come voice your opinions about the England tour. So it's not just about us. It's not just about our people that are coming on the panels. It's about you. So please, you can go to cricketfanaticsmag.com to find the England series tab. Click on that. Make sure that you bookmark it, because we're going to be updating you every single day with regards to pre-match, post-match, during the match, everything that we can possibly give you as much as we can. So please support us, guys, because we really want to grow during this period. Really, that's our aim. So lastly, as I always say at the end of the stream, if you guys have a business and you're looking to obviously promote your businesses, you're looking to get sales online, especially during these difficult times, there's a link in the description for a free video where we help you. Free training on how to make sales online, even if your business is offline. So that's a very key factor, even if your business is offline. So go ahead to that particular video, learn a bit from us, contact us, and we can try our best to help you out. Thanks a lot, guys, for tuning in. Thanks a lot to Beware. Thanks a lot to the comments, guys in the comment section. We'll see you guys very, very soon. Take care, everyone.